Salutation shades, and welcome back to your one-stop shop for all things strange and unusual, talking with shadows. The conversation everyone has, but no one wants to admit to. Here with your host, Vic Waitley.
And Marcus D. And our guest tonight, joining us in the studio via Zoom, we are joined by 2/3 of the Nightclub Podcast, a podcast dedicated to the dark. First up out of these cosmic Cajuns, we have the gummy-mouthed Dirt Castle King, herbal enchanter extraordinaire, editor-in-chief, Travis Maxwell Boone. Lastly, but not leastly, a word he might use, we're also joined by the false cult Boyka Boy, a poet and bard of our times, Mr. Natterdays himself, Ricky Prejean.
Hi, hi.
Oh my God, guys, I was not privy to the introduction part, so this is the first time I've heard it,
Yes.
and that was awesome.
Yes.
I wrote it because I wanted to hear Marcus say it, because I think Marcus has a really cool podcast voice. You do as well, Vic. But I'm like,
you.
he's got the deep sort of velvety tone, and to the exchanges, or well, the comments made about us there are exchanges we've made about each other on our show. So I also wrote it for Ricky to hear because I knew he would get a kick out of it.
But no, that was so freaking cool.
I love it. Thank you, Travis, for writing that, man. I appreciate it. And thank you, Ricky, man. Thank you for joining us.
Glad to be here. I'm a Candelorian, inside and out.
Awesome.
Yeah,
thank
bro.
you. We appreciate that. We thank you guys so much for coming on the podcast. Yes, absolutely. Vic was right. You guys wrote the best intro that we've probably had.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Most people typically they either want me to do it or I'm just reading generally their bio or whatever. So Travis, you did, man. You wrote a very awesome intro.
Oh, I didn't want to go too grandiose, and
No, I was very humble. It was very humble, man. I appreciate that.
You see, everyone asks Marcus to do the intros because if they ask me, I just won't do it.
No, I love well, the reason why I love doing the intros is because when I do stand-up comedy, man, I love to host. And when you're the host, you do people's intros and you bring them in the way that they want. So yeah, I always appreciate that. If you guys have never heard, if you guys didn't know, we actually got to be guests on the Nightclub Podcast, and it was such a great time where we got to talk about, we talked about a whole bunch of stuff when we did that.
We talked about Coraline. We talked about shadow people.
We talked about clowns. We talked about phantom clown phenomenon and killer clowns.
We got to get a little further into the Harlequin, which a lot of you guys are fans of that stuff.
yeah,
Yeah, it was,
Second Amendment rights were expressed.
That's true. I have often said I am very shocked and surprised that more people do not end their cryptid story with, and then I pulled out my gun, like straight up, just R. Kelly.
Yeah, Ricky was flashing his guns on the show, and yeah, that episode is episode 40, Gumball Medusa.
I love it.
It might be hard to find some of the guests we have on our show because I tend to title my episodes based on something
After goofy stuff.
Yeah.
Either goofy or something said in the episode. The titles go between goofy and sometimes I think pretty cool.
And what we really liked coming on your podcast was two things that I noticed. One is you guys do a very good job of setting up a theme, because if you listen to the episode, there's there's Coraline lyrics in the beginning, there's really eerie music. You guys set up this really cool theme. Like if you've ever seen like the Kirlian Frequency.
Oh, I love the Cajun Country.
Yeah, from Netflix. And if you haven't seen that, you should absolutely check that out. That's the feel that I get. You guys set up this vibe. It's so cool.
I'm gonna have to check it out. I've never seen it.
Okay, can I tell him the thing now?
Tell him the thing.
The thing that, when we were on their show.
Oh, yeah, you can go ahead and spill the beans.
Okay.
Oh, I think I already know.
You might have.
And I laughed.
We both, and it's amazing.
I died in my truck and I laughed.
Okay, for you guys out there, if you haven't already heard this, the whole time, Marcus was bluffing his way through, acting like he had read the book Coraline, but was actually just looking down at a synopsis of the book the whole time. He's just like playing the whole thing off, and the whole time like, you didn't read that book. I know you didn't read that book.
I never, if you listen to their episode, I never once say
That's true.
that I read the book. I just said that I was referencing stuff from it. So yes, I was.
Otherwise, this would be a different matter. And the next time you visit Castle Moonskull or the cabin, you'll be lynched.
Yes.
No.
Oh crap!
It's okay.
No, lynched with hugs. We'll just hug you.
Lynched
you.
with. I think
that
that's actually.
doesn't sound so bad.
I think that's how most lynchings are. Is they're like deadly hugs. Like that's like the deadliest of hugs.
Okay, let's get into some beer.
I
I need
agree.
beer.
Well, you're right, man.
It's
It's weird, man. We got super dark, super fat. Let's do alcohol. Today, guys, I am drinking a Stella Artois. Did I say that right?
Artois. Artois.
Stella, yeah, that is very not right. Stella Artois.
Stella Artois. There's an S.
It's
Stella
actually
Artois.
Artois.
There's an S at the end of it.
I've always heard it called Stella Artois.
Huh?
That's-
What'd you say, Ricky?
It's actually Artois, right? Isn't the O before the I?
Artois. Are we? I don't know. God, this is just. We are absolutely just showing our Midwestern right
I'm
there.
pretty sure
Like,
it's Artois.
yeah.
I bought it for a friend who I know likes it,
Yeah.
and that's how he always says
Yes, Stella Artois. Yes, that's yes. Like, oh God,
That
it's
used
like
to be my drink of choice whenever I would visit Supper, a restaurant in New York City. I used to work in New York City, and that beer would be on tap for me all night. And at the end of the night, Wade St. Germain, best bartender of all time. He's a Canadian fella, and now he owns his own place called Cabaret Franks in upstate New York. He would always say, "Travis, that'll be $6," and I could have drank 15 of those things.
Oh,
So
that's
shout out
nice.
to Wade St. Germain and Stella Artois in New York City.
Yeah, I need the bottle opener back.
Oh, sorry.
I'm drinking Scorpio Pina, which is a beer someone left at my house. If I remember right, it's like a sour pineapple.
Ooh.
Yeah, we didn't run out to get beers. We just went with whatever I still had in my
In the
fridge from a big
fridge.
party a few weeks ago.
Oh, nice. I don't
That's
know what
what I
that kind
did.
of beer tastes like.
That's what I did too, but yeah.
Okay, I'm starting to remember this. Have
is
you ever
like-
had a sour beer before?
You.
I don't think so.
Okay, think about a beer that's kind of fruity, and then someone put like 8 or 9 warheads in it and let them totally melt.
Oh my God.
Nice.
That's,
Actually, a better
that sounds
taste.
great.
You know that weird aftertaste you get after you vomit? That's the
Ugh.
flavor of
That
most
is
sour
not
beers.
okay. He hates sour beers. I
That
made
is-
him drink.
That's the real flavor of
I
a
made
sour
him drink
beer.
several
Oh.
on the show for our fans. He hates them. I love
They're
them.
disgusting. Although the Stella Artois the taste. This is like the lightest. This is like the lightest. This tastes like seltzer water.
Okay, Shades, if you know how to say it, just post it below. Spell it out phonetically.
Spell it out phonetically for us Hoosiers here in Indiana and our neighbors to the left from Illinois.
Illinois.
So
Tonight, yeah, boom. Tonight I am drinking Future Hop IPA. It's a New Belgium beer.
oh, that's nice.
New
It's
Belgium
a rad
style.
can.
I know.
I can't turn my light back on. Yeah, it's got this cool trip hop dude on the cover, or on the can rather. And I usually drink. This is made by the same people that make Voodoo Ranger IPA, which I love.
That's
know
why I
that one.
remember it, because we've got
I know
Voodoo
that
Ranger
one.
for episodes before.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Voodoo Ranger's nice.
Yes.
Oh yeah, and so tonight I'm trying this one. I would say it's on the same level. It's really good IPA. I've got no issues, and it's 8% by volume. So let me go ahead and crack that for you. Give it a swirl.
This tastes like alcoholic water when I'm drinking. I
Just drink your beer.
I don't know if I'd call this beer.
You heard me say I would drink like 15 of those in a night, right?
It's like light beer. This chair I'm also sitting in is slowly breaking, by the way. All right. So, Travis, are you
collapse onto the floor?
so Rick, are you drinking anything tonight, or what are you drinking?
Well, I'm drinking my tried and true. I've got
Natural light.
Natter Days. Yeah,
I love it. Yes.
Yeah, man, that's strawberry lemon. It's my go-to, man. It's
He is Mr. Natterdays after
I'm
all.
Mr. Natterdays after all. That's right. I'm only aware of this as of today, but I'm Mr. Natterdays.
I like strawberry
Thanks,
lemon.
Jarek. Shout out. Jarek put me on this. Thank you, bud.
What Vic said?
Oh, I said I like stuff that's strawberry lemon. I might give that a shot.
Vic is what you.
Dude.
Yeah, Vic is
Yeah, you
absolutely
definitely
a. Vic is a connoisseur of alcohol, actually, of most alcohol, which is a nice way of saying an alcoholic. But
I'm not an alcoholic. I do like my beers and ciders, and I usually have one in the evening or a bottle of wine or something.
I would like to point out that you are the only one that recognized all 4 alcoholic drinks that we were drinking tonight.
Shut up.
So I'd like to point that out. So, thank you guys so much. Thank you guys so much for coming on today and for inviting us into your podcast. And we absolutely wanted to bring you guys on because it was so much fun talking about like really dark stuff in the paranormal. And that's the best part about your guys' podcast. And you guys are into just that really dark thematic stuff. So if people are interested in that, that's why they should go to your podcast. How did the nightclub podcast start? Like, how did you guys decide to start a podcast?
That guy.
Which guy?
Oh, me.
That guy in the car right there. Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah, for the listeners, I'm recording outside of a hotel in Round Rock, Texas, which is 30
Because
minutes
he's a stalker.
north of Austin, and I'm following Joe Bob Briggs around. So to tie that in, when I was young, I mean, I got into horror films
Right.
when I was very young, and Joe Bob Briggs, being the host of Monster Vision on TNT, was the guy that got me into horror movies. Years later, I get into Kevin Smith, who married my wife and I. Got to shout him out for that. And he's got a podcast. His friends have a podcast as well. Walt Bry and Q, who most people know from Impractical Jokers.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Walt and Bry were from Comic Book Man, but they all started the podcast before they got their TV shows. So they've been in this, from before they were quote unquote famous. They're a big inspiration because I'm like, this is amazing. This is a podcast, can be dark and funny. They just didn't talk about all the things that I would maybe want to hear about. So eventually I started a podcast that fell through. And I'm like, I need to rebuild because I love doing this. I love editing. I edit the shows. It's so much fun. And I wanted to reimagine the podcast as something that was horror centric or dark. We really focus on horror movies because we love it. But we are also prone to going into conspiracy theories or paranormal, I guess. If it's tied to the movie that we're going to cover or something in the horror realm, it usually flows better that way on our show. But we're a hodgepodge. And we've included now sword and sorcery into the mix.
Always a fun include.
Oh, we have a blast doing the show. So you'll find like movie reviews and, like I said, different topics. But that was the origin of it. And I'm like, who better than Ricky to come on this journey with me? Because I wanted, at the onset, I was getting into black metal and death metal, like really hardcore at the age of 30. I liked some bands before in those genres, but I'm like, I'm really digging this stuff right now. It's hitting at this point in my life. So Ricky's always been the metal guy. And I'm like, the podcast is going to be horror and metal, which go hand in hand to me. It's evolved. Everything evolves. Actually, originally, the podcast was going to be like you were driving down some dark country road and the AM station happened to pick up the show. That was going to be
like some pirate. Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think when you turn 30, most of us get this impulse to like just start a podcast, and then we tell our parents, well, yeah, we started a podcast, and we're like, well, maybe you should stick with something stable, like selling drugs, or something. Kind of.
Well, we try to sell the drugs, and it's the creepy drugs and the fun drugs on the nightclub.
How long have you guys been? How long have you guys been recording your podcast? How long has that been going on?
It started September 13th, 2019. That was a Friday the 13th, the inaugural episode.
Nice,
good choice.
Nice. See, again, it's just that theme. It's just that theme that you guys always run. That's what I really, really like about the nightclub podcast. Like it gets you
Thank you,
just
man.
it just gets you in the mood.
Okay, I got a question
Especially
for you
the
guys.
early episodes when it
No,
was just
no.
Travis.
No. If anyone is curious, go back and listen to the first several and the ones that I solo cast. They are different, and that was the original intention. But like everything, it evolves, and I love what the show has become. It's a mixture of that serious tone with us being so silly that I wouldn't trade those moments for the world. I love the podcast. I love doing it.
Okay, I got a question for you guys. I know, like, the paranormal and conspiracies and high strangeness, it's not your primary bread and butter, but you did express some interest in it. What got you interested in that sort of thing?
Coast to Coast AM.
Hell
would
yeah.
Be the origin of that. Going back to talking about New York City, slightly before moving to New Jersey, in which I worked overnight doing pest control at night in creepy ancient buildings in the basements in the dark, just by myself. I had discovered Coast to Coast AM, and when I went to New York, I brought it with me because it's worldwide.
Wait,
It's
quick
the
question,
biggest-
real quick. Quick question. So you're walking around by yourself in, like, the basement of New York buildings, I'm assuming with the lights kind of slightly flashing on and off, and you decide you want to listen to Coast.
That's right.
Baller,
Yes.
please continue.
That's awesome.
It's George Norrie and oh man, his name's gonna not George Knapp. The original Art Bell.
Art Bell?
Art Bell,
Oh, I
yeah.
love Art
Yeah,
Bell.
Art Bell.
Art Bell.
Rest
The
in peace,
original
man.
host. Oh yeah, R.I.P. Art Bell. And the day George Norrie passes will be a sad day as
Yeah.
well. But they got me into this whole other. I don't want to get too because this I tend to tangent and I don't want to go deep in the weeds on this, but again, at that point in my life, I was exploring a lot of different stuff and ideas like ancient aliens.
Yeah.
Like I heard Giorgio Tsoukalos on Coast to Coast before Ancient Aliens was a show.
Mm-hmm.
So I heard all that stuff and was like, this is insane. And then he got picked up by History Channel. So it was like the thing I was into was expanding even in the outside world. So it felt like a good path to go down. So I would say Coast to Coast AM was the birth of my interest in paranormal. Ricky, I don't know. Like, I honestly don't know when he got.
We're
into
gonna have to
conspiracy
ask him one day.
yeah, but not today.
Yeah, not today though. That's silly.
No, when did you get into that, man?
So I remember seeing Stargate in theaters with my parents.
Great movie.
And
Yeah,
thinking,
Marcus is a big fan of that.
Yeah, great movie.
And
I actually
thinking-
watched that like a week ago, actually.
really, I really,
Yeah.
it's been years. I need to pop it in, but I remember thinking, man, this is such a rad idea. Like, I wonder how they came up with this concept. And then later I found out, like, oh, okay, this is something that people think about. And ever since then, I've been really into the concept of human contact. Listen to me, alien contact starting a long time ago. But as far as how I got into like conspiracies and stuff, I guess it's just kind of like YouTube rabbit holes.
Oh yeah,
stuff like that.
Oh
It
yeah,
ki-
today that's my thing. Is like, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's cool. Like, it all honestly kind of started with a weird obsession with serial killers.
Yeah.
I just liked learning about them.
You creep.
Yeah, I'm just a weirdo. And
Whoever has that kind of obsession.
well, there's the
Right.
same appeal, I would say, with serial killers and the macabre that there is in the paranormal.
Oh, yeah. Ellie's really into the whole serial
Yeah.
killer thing.
Yeah.
yeah, I just it,
No, I'm
it all
just
just
messing
kind of
with him.
it all just kind of yeah, I know what you're doing over there. I see you. No, it all just kind of spurred from random obsessions with the macabre. That's a good word to apply to the whole thing. And it started early. I just, absorbing whatever I can when I can.
Well, I want to ask because you said YouTube rabbit holes, and this is the one that I'm going down lately. I've even reached out to the creator of a channel called his name is John Levi. Have you guys heard of the mud floats?
No,
The
this
mud
is new
floats?
to me.
What is the mud float? Tell us about these mud
snap.
floats.
Oh my God. How much time do we have? Are we going to talk about a topic tonight or do you want to talk about mud floods? Because
Oh, boy.
Let's put a pin in the mud floats for now.
You know you guys can't do this to me. I'm an extremely curious person.
That's fine.
You can't tease me like
We're
this.
gonna put a pin in the mud floats, and then
let me give you the premise. The premise of the
There
mud
you go.
flood
Tell us the premise.
is that there has been a recent reset of human history in the 1850s, beginning with the World's Fairs. And what we think of as history is wrong. We've been lied to. There was an ancient worldwide civilization, and there's evidence in architecture. And I'll leave it there.
I honest to God, I'm so thankful that I am not some sort of like an elementary school history like teacher, because they'll be like, where's the cradle of civilization? The Stargates and the mud flaps. I can't imagine.
If this were the nightclub, the name of the episode would be Stargates and Mud Flaps.
Like that.
Yeah, definitely.
Like that right there.
But this isn't too far off from some of our conversations because we talk about the possibility of a precursor civilization
we did
often.
That. We ended up doing that. We ended up doing
Tartaria?
that a lot. Oh
Like,
yeah.
That's the common. That's
Wait.
common.
You know what Tartaria means? Or
Oh.
you know what that is?
I don't know that term offhand.
Mm-mm.
No.
Okay.
I'm so sorry. I thought Marcus was saying yes, like he
No.
knew what it meant.
Oh,
Oh, my bad.
No,
Yeah,
I was
that's-
reflective listening by just reflecting back. Like, oh, that's awesome. Like, non.
That's part of the whole mud flood theory is
Neat.
ancient empire called Tartaria. Yeah, we'll put a pin in it, but this is my new obsession. I love it.
We're gonna come back to that. But this whole time that we've been for this month in November, we've been talking about ghost towns, haunted towns, creepy towns, all things like that. If you didn't check out our last episode, we were talking about Dogtown, which is a whole section of Evansville where we're from, where it's like a haunted, ghost, creepy part of town, literally that people in the city don't even know about. That's the creepiest part about it, that it's like a whole section that people just don't know about. And it was so much fun. And we love talking about it. There's always something really cool about these just haunted towns, ghost towns, and things like that that just draws you just into the paranormal. Me and Vic were talking about this in our last episode where we said it's so much so that so many of our season finales when we did case files,
Almost always towns.
yeah, it was a town. It was about a town. We did Stull, Kansas. We did Portlock, Alaska. We've done Dogtown several times, so it was super interesting to do. What do you guys feel about it?
Well, when I think of ghost towns, and this is again I can't tangent. I wrote a song a long time ago. I used to play music. Me and Ricky both have played music and been in bands. And a long time ago, when I was in this band, I wrote a song. I included the lyric about a ghost town. I've always been obsessed with the idea of a place where someone was and they aren't anymore. And what's the story behind that? And the structures left behind. It could kind of tie into the mud floods.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why mud floods on the mind. But my I guess the attraction to at least the concept of a ghost town is that the bleakness of there must have been tragedy or just something horrible must have happened to suddenly people are gone. They're not there anymore, but you can see the ghost of them through the town left behind. Like it's the whole, I'm probably repeating words, but it's the whole conceptual idea of a ghost town and then where my brain takes me when I think of it. I might not be articulating that correctly, but
No, we're following.
We are.
but I am future hop IPAing over here. So yeah.
There's something oddly fascinating and slightly macabre about these superliminal spaces where everything around you, when you're looking at it, implies a town, but everything's gone, and you can see how everything's kind of eroded over time. It's almost like I don't want to use the word spiritual, but maybe surreal when you're walking through a ghost town, and you can kind of just see the passage of time occurring over this landscape, and then relate it to what might the world that I normally exist in look like in another 20, 30, 40, 50 years?
Oh man, I love that you said that. exactly. It's the seeing the passage of time. Perhaps is the, and this is not to get macabre again, but or too dark, but it's all about death, right?
Yeah.
I mean, anyone who's fascinated in any of this, the root of it all is the fear of death or the interest in what is after, whatever way you want to break that down. After death, death is the thing, and to see a ghost town is to imply death.
Yeah.
So,
and there's also this super interesting cyclical angle to it too, because a lot of the ghost towns like we've investigated. What was that one that we were at last time? Old Leavenworth.
Oh, yeah, that part of Crawford County, yeah.
Where there is all these signs of death, decay, and just entropy around you, but there's also all these signs of renewal as the woods are reclaiming the landscape. There's vines growing on everything. It's this interesting juxtaposition of life and death right next to each other.
Well, it reminds me with how we're super into that sort of macabre thing when you watch that. Like, have you ever, like, I don't know, watch some of those, like, super rapid decomposing videos? It's like when you see a ghost town, that's what you're
seeing. And now we all know what Marcus is looking up on YouTube.
You know, or with those weird TikToks of it. And then when you see a ghost town, that's what you're seeing. You're seeing that playing out over a town, that crumbliness. And then the part afterwards where Vic was talking about where it keeps going, where it's the woods start reclaiming it.
Anytime
what's
you
a
see
tic-tac?
I think he meant a TikTok, but he'll call them tic-tacs sometimes because he's old.
If you've ever seen, like Marcus obviously has, a video of an animal decaying like that in rapid motion.
It's weirdly hypnotic. It's weird.
And if you've ever made them yourself.
I have not made one myself. I can say that.
I can't watch them because there's always that maggot explosion moment, and maggots really freak me out. Like, I can't look at them.
Like
I don't know why.
Like the world's scariest pinata.
Guys, one time.
Gross pinata, bro.
A maggot pinata. One time I went outside and my garbage can was a maggot
Nope.
Moving on. Hard tangent. What is your guys' favorite haunted ghost story from a town, or what would you say is your guys' favorite one that you know of?
We have a local one from Mamou, Louisiana, where we're from.
Cajun, yes. I was hoping we were going to get a Louisiana ghost story.
Please.
Yeah,
please.
Both Ricky and I are from a very small town called Mamou, Louisiana, because the baby cow
sounds haunted.
the baby cow says ma, and the mama cow says moo, Mamou.
Yeah.
So there you go. No, that's not true. It was based on a Native American chief named Chief Mamou. So pretty cool.
I've actually heard of this ghost town before. I was surprised.
Of course you have.
No, listen, Mamou is basically a ghost town. You want to talk about walking through streets of eroding decay and also renewal. It's fading in and also going up at the same time, or fading out and going up at the same time. It's weird.
Tell us a little more.
I'd love to see this.
I want to hear more. Tell me more about Mamou, Louisiana, and the haunted parts of it.
So Mamou, Louisiana has the legend of the Zsa Zsa Boo. The Zsa Zsa Boo is a womanly ghost that lives in the old water tower that doesn't work anymore. Mamou has 2 water towers in it. One right when you're driving up north on Highway 13, you'll see it right off to your right before you enter the town. The old water tower is in the center of town. There's a large pecan tree field there. And this old rusted water tower holds the ghost of the Zsa Zsa Boo. And when kids, see, again, you're gonna see like you were saying cyclical earlier. You're gonna see cycles in folklore here, because it's when kids are bad, they're not listening. They go lave, they go sleep over at someone else's house, and the kids are being rambunctious and they're not wanting to go to bed. Then
they connive.
Yeah, they think they're so clever. Them.
They still connive.
They connive, yeah, sure.
This is like the most Cajun way to say F those kids that I've ever heard. That's like the nicest slight I have ever heard.
They some couillon fionks, boy.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm only understanding half of what you're saying, but I'm loving hearing it.
I'm so enthralled. I would totally get into this haunted car, this CD car when you talk like that.
It's weird how many words we have in the language for the same thing. Because like a couillon and a fion, it's like the same thing.
So there's this.
Anyway.
So there's this broke down water tower in the middle of the town with a weird ghost lady who lives inside it.
she lives inside of it, and when the kids are bad, they're not listening. The caretaker, usually, whether the parents or, again, this was common more so when we had sleepovers. This story, this of the Zsa Zsa Boo, still existed up until when I was a kid. We got told this by my friend Ricky, will know his name. Shout out to Hunter Palmier. His grandma would tell us this if we were being, we were up late playing like Majora's Mask or WCW NWO Revenge, whatever, on the 64, and we weren't ready. We had chocolate milk. We weren't ready for bed. Yeah, whatever.
All hopped up on Mountain Dew. Shit.
Hopped up on Mountain Dew trying to dodge the Zsa Zsa Boo.
Oh yeah.
I'm so digging this right now. It's like a twisted Dr. Seuss tale.
She would tell us if we didn't go to bed, the Zsa Zsa Boo was going to come and scratch the ceiling. So, and that's what would happen. I swear though, and this is real. This is real. I'm not making this up. I'm a spectacle.
Yes, you are a spectacle, sir.
I'm a skeptical person. So I don't just full-fledged believe. I'll be fascinated by something all day. Doesn't mean I believe it's true. Mud floats. But love it. Anyway, we'll get to that later.
So what does the Zsa Zsa Boo look like? That's
never been, that's the best part. It's left up to your imagination.
Oh man.
It's not described what she looks like, but whenever I woke up one morning and looked there, there was a mirror on the wall, mounted right above the bed where I was sleeping at my friend's house. And I look up through the mirror, and on the ceiling, I can see what I interpret to be scratch marks going across the ceiling. When I look at it with my naked eye directly, I don't see them. Look up through the mirror, there's obviously something going on with light there where I'm seeing trails.
Like this is going on in real time? Like it's just scratching, like you're seeing the claws forming?
No, I'm seeing, again, like a ghost town, the remains.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like something was there and had scratched it the night before.
Mm.
So, look, the validity of the Zsa Zsa Boo, no. But it was really creepy that I was told she would scratch the ceilings. There's other weird things that the Zsa Zsa Boo might do. You might get kidnapped. And again, this is primarily told to children, so they get freaked out when they're told they're going to be brought to this old rusty water tower.
And she drowns you.
I didn't hear that part.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard she drowns you.
So I want to make sure I get this straight. So in Mamou, Louisiana, parents tell their kids if they don't behave and go to bed and do what they say, the Zsa Zsa Boo is going to scratch up the ceiling or drag you to the abandoned water tower and drown you.
Yeah.
See,
especially
who's your parents are just old fashioned and just say, if you don't do what I say, we're gonna beat your ass.
No. My dad would always tell me
did that when Zsa Zsa Boo brought you back. Like, oh no, you bothered that nice lady.
I was gonna say they, if your neighbor brought you back and they had a problem with you, oh yeah.
Dude, my dad would always tell me if I'm not good, the Wampus Cat would come and get me. Have you guys ever heard of that term, Wampus Cat?
No.
I have. That's a folklore creature right there.
Yeah, back where I grew up, like farmers would periodically just see like large black cats just kind of skulking around the fields and stuff. And people would just call it the Wampus Cat. And my dad would tell me if I don't go to bed on time, the Wampus Cat was going to come get me.
And a name like Wampus Cat, Zsa Zsa Boo, aren't these weird like names for, I don't know, specters that are supposed to make you behave yourself? It's interesting what we come up with just to get our kids to listen to us. Man, I mean, oh man.
I don't know why a cat might come get me if I stay up too late, but it was enough to scare me. I don't know why this cat cares if I'm up late at night.
Right.
There's I picture Zsa Zsa Boo and her Wampus Cat sitting on top of the old rusty water tower, and they're like, those kids better go to bed soon. Or else.
Hey, what happens is sometimes she don't feel like getting out of bed, so she opens up her rice cooker And that's where the Wampus cat lives, and the Wampus cat goes and gets you, and then comes back in. And
I think that they
gets
tell
back
us
in the rice cooker.
I think that they tell us the reason why our parents tell us these tales is that way in case like if CPS ever like talks to us as kids, we're like, why are you doing all this stuff? It's like, oh, because the Wampus cat of the Zsa Zsa Boo is going to get me. They're like, no, we don't need to take them away. This kid needs therapy. Never mind. Okay, it's just like nope.
That's the best. Oh.
Have you guys ever noticed there's this odd connection between like female ghosts, particularly like ones with a bit of a boogeyman angle to them, and areas of water?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like
Water's-
what's that one that you did a video on a while back?
Yeah, me and a friend shout out to Nebsy Slew or Murphy Haslow or whatever alias he was using. Yeah, he was Murphy Haslow, I think, when he came on the show. We did something on La Llorona. Which is a Spanish one, and it's essentially like a lady in white that literally, if she catches kids outside, like after nightfall, she'll like take them back to the river, like drown them or abduct them or steal them away.
And the archetype of like the female bridge phantom, like occurs cross culture. Like if you look around enough, you'll find stories of just female ghosts on bridges, but no one really knows exactly what the connection is folklorically.
And I think that if these were actually all true, and there was real life Ghostbusters, what would happen if they got taken away? There'd just be naughty kids everywhere. There's like nothing stopping kids from running rampant.
That's wild. That's wild that you said that, Vic, because
Child population control.
Yes,
It's natural, bro.
we can't go back to the killer clown phenomenon.
get you. They'll get
right.
you.
It's fascinating. I'm say fascinating over and over again. It's interesting, Vic, that you brought that up. That
You Spock, you.
I am that the headless woman, or at least you mentioned something like that, or it has something to do with a bridge or whatever. Well, in Eunice, Louisiana, the town right over from Mamou,
About
there's
15 minutes away.
Yeah, it's like 15, 12 right from the highway. There's a legend of a woman who was killed on the railroad tracks there that is walking around at night. She usually has a lantern. How she has a lantern, I don't know, but that's part of the story. And she's always looking for her head. There's people that have seen the ghost or whatever. I had the story kind of vaguely told to me. When our area, and this is a topic I've wanted to cover on our own show for a long time, or some of the urban legends we grew up with, like Three Bridges. Ricky, you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I guess I don't know what the correlation would be though. Like, why do you think?
I'm sorry. I just always wondered how people know she's looking for her head. If she's got no head, she's got no voice, and you don't see what, like, all you see is her holding the lantern, right?
I have no clue.
How do you know? Maybe she doesn't want her head. Maybe she never cared about it. She might be looking for her cell phone. That's why she's got a lantern out instead of using the flashlight app on her phone.
But like
anyway, I'm sorry. Continue.
About 3 hours north of us, we have about the same story in Brazil, Indiana. But like extremely similar, headless lantern out looking for it. It's interesting how these same motifs just kind of repeat over time.
What is the correlation? Like, why do you think it's
bad
over
parenting?
Time?
That's something that just transcends cultures, right there. Just bad parenting, it's something that every culture has.
They didn't break out the belt enough.
That's true.
You know.
Well, I think it probably started when we stopped putting them in the coal mines. You know, kids started acting up more because they had less character. You know.
And if it was all kids in the coal mine, then there would definitely be a ghost town because all those kids would tragically perish.
Less character, but also less black lung.
No, you were saying about the Three Bridges though. That's a neat one, Trav. You should talk about that because I don't feel I remember enough about it.
No, this is like a common. I'm sure many towns or people have this sort of creepy thing to do with your friends. You go out into, okay, I'll say it, outside of Louisiana, outside of Eunice, Louisiana, in an area of the countryside called Patasa. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to get some.
We love Patasa.
I'm gonna have to get some Spark Notes on how to spell some of these for our description for this episode, just so y'all know.
You're gonna get mad. there's a lot of umlauts or whatever those symbols are called. But outside of Eunice, Louisiana, there's a area called Patasa where you're driving down this one road in that area, you come across 3 bridges, literally 3 bridges in a row. And these aren't grand bridges, by the way. These are literally the same road you're driving on, going straight, crossing a very small creek or stream or what have you, with guardrails on either side. That's it. They're self-supported. If that's the right term. You're supposed to pull up
It's
to the
almost
first
like
one.
3 ditches.
Yeah,
Okay.
pretty much. It's like 3 ditches, really, with the road over it. But you pull up to the first one. You kill. In some stories, you kill the car. In some, you just turn off your headlights and honk the horn. But again, people tell it different.
Right.
You drive to the second one, kill the car, turn off the headlights, honk the horn. Drive to the third one, kill the headlights, honk the horn. Then you turn around and you cross all 3 back. And what you're supposed to see at the end, and Vic's gonna get all excited now because
I'm ready to be excited.
It's another woman. It's another womanly ghost for some reason on 3 bridges that. Or was it Vic or Marcus that was talking about the? Yeah,
it
y'all both
was
brought it
probably
up.
me, but no, that's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
And so that's we did this to anyone who didn't know the story. That's what you do. You bring your friends to do the spooky thing, right?
Oh yeah,
Just
that's
scare the crap out
definitely
of
a
'em.
thing.
Absolutely.
And when you get to the 3rd bridge and you finally have to kill your headlights again, you turn them back on, everyone who's privy to the story screams at the top of their lungs, and the new person freaks out. That's the kind of thing it was. So
Right.
that's 3 bridges.
Actually,
we're talking about urban legends from Louisiana.
I
all
don't
of a
think
sudden.
we
Right.
have a parody for that one here in Indiana. We have one called Bridge Over Land and Water, and it involves a ritual, kind of something like that, but I don't remember it very well. But it doesn't end like that. But I don't think we have a parody for that specific one.
No. We have a lot of the general ones where you're supposed to park your car like in neutral or something, and you can feel it pushing your car or something.
And a lot of river ghosts. We have a lot of river ghosts here in Indiana because there's a lot of rivers here in Indiana.
So a lot of people have drowned in Indiana, is what you're saying.
Well, yeah, because they didn't have flood walls.
Definitely,
So it rained.
at least in Jennings County. Back when I was growing up, there used to be a saying, if you're going to kill someone, do it in Jennings County, because the police won't even investigate it.
What?
That doesn't have anything to do with rivers, man. That just means it's just rough.
We also had several rivers going through, so easy disposal of the body, and we have the largest wetlands in the northern part of the United States there.
Well, no, the reason why you do it is because there's apparently like no ghosts to drown the naughty people. They stopped. They tried real discipline. It just didn't work. Just all chaos broke out. I would love to get your guys' final thoughts on what do you guys like about Louisiana folklore? Like, what's something special, or like what do you guys like about that so much?
Well, I discovered you guys researching Louisiana folklore.
Aww.
So yeah,
touched.
I found you on YouTube trying to learn more about the Rougarou, which is Louisiana's very own werewolf, which is me and Ricky's favorite cryptid, I think. Well, I'm pretty sure.
I kind of love sewer Sasquatches, but yeah.
Sasquatch.
Yeah. So that's how I found out about Talking with Shadows and the One Candle Society. And I don't know. Louisiana is a mixture of, you have hauntings, you have ghosts. The slave plantations lead a lot to stories that involve ghosts from those tragic, horrible situations where it's like The Grudge, where if a ghost was angry or experienced pain before they died, they're more likely to leave a mark and in The Grudge's case, come back and try to kill you. So it's stories like about the it's dire or demure, but the slave plantation ghost stories, haunted plantations, there are books and books about this stuff. Also, we have voodoo. We have.
And it's true.
I was going to say a lot of it is the mixture of culture as well. So you have the voodoo, you have the, and I don't mean to cut you off, but
no, go ahead.
The voodoo, the mixture of other African traditions and Spanish traditions and French tradition and, you know, all this other stuff from our area. It just makes it lends to an interesting grouping of folklore.
It's a unique blend in Louisiana.
Yeah. A little melting pot, yeah.
Man, yeah. Despite the humidity and the mosquitoes, we have, I think, some of the best ghost stories. I think we have some of the creepiest places if you get to visit them. St. Francisville. We've not. I
was about to ask if you guys have been.
I have.
I have not. I've actually never been to Louisiana, but that is on one of my top places to actually visit.
Let me throw out some of the Louisiana folklore that I thought was really neat.
The Wisp of the Willows?
Oh, of course. But I'm familiar with that from other traditions. One thing I found there that was solely kind of unique was when I was in Louisiana, or I was in New Orleans, and I had heard about this legend of, it was kind of a mix between a cryptid and a boogeyman. It's kind of this alligator-headed person. I can't remember what it's called right now. But, you leave out this offering on a particular, saint's feast, and it's supposed to, come up from the river and, gather it. And some people told me that, it would steal children and stuff. But it's kind of like this mix between, a voodoo loa and an alligator. And I thought that was, super neat. Mm-hmm. The other thing that me and Ellie talk a lot about is Madame LaLaurie. In a lot of her tortures, there are a lot of classical, European French occultic elements in there. Yeah. And we like to talk about grimoires from time to time. And we had speculated that, based on her methodology, likely she kept a journal of what she was doing. And we always speculate, is that the Great American Grimoire? But we just have never found it.
Wow.
For me, it's that magical element that's always that's just woven into Louisiana folklore that I just super absolutely have a fondness, and it just draws you in, and it mixes that in with the macabre. You just can't not see that stuff.
Oh yeah, and I grew up in the tale.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to.
I was just gonna say I grew up in a swamp, so I have a really soft spot for swampy folklore. It's got its own little breed.
So
right.
I want to make sure that everybody knows where can people find the Nightclub Podcast? Where can people find your guys' content?
The Nightclub Podcast is on Stitcher, Apple, Spotify, pretty much anywhere you can find your podcasts. And if you can't, email me at thenightclubpodcast@gmail.com. You can find us on Instagram at the Nightclub Podcast. You can find us on Facebook and on the Slasher app. For any horror fans out there, there is an app.
Nice.
It's just like Facebook, but it's horror all the time.
For horror nerds all the time.
Yep. Awesome. So we're on all those platforms. I started a TikTok, but let me not rant about TikTok. I'd say find us there, but probably not.
TikToks.
That's awesome. So, Travis and Ricky, I want to thank you guys so much for coming on the podcast. If you guys are patrons, don't forget to stick around for the Pillow Talk segment. We're going to keep some of the conversations going.
This has been a blast, guys. Really, everybody go check out their stuff.
So much, man. Thank you guys so much for coming on.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for having us. We love you.
Absolutely.
Big hearts back to you too as well.
Big hearts. But until next time, guys, keep believing.
Because we'll keep listening.
All right, guys, we're going to slide into the Pillow Talk section of this podcast.
And trust me, guys, you're going to want to follow us for this one because we're going to find out what the hell mud floods are.
Yes. So if you want to check out the rest of this awesome podcast, all you have to do is go over to our Patreon, sign up. For as little as $1 a month, you get the rest of this awesome podcast as well as bonus episodes that we put up. If you are sign up for $2 more a month, you actually get to vote on the poll for our theme for next month. And our poll is up, but I'm not giving it the time of it to talk about it right now because all of our patrons are voting for the one thing that I don't want them to put on there.
Oh, it's going to be like big flying monsters and giant birds and stuff? Good. I'm taking a vacation in December. That's what's going to happen. But we're going to keep going. And one thing, final thoughts on this Stella Artois. It smells weird. There's been this weird funk, I swear, the entire episode. And I'm like, I have to tell the audience something.
It's the beer.
like half this episode, I've noticed him just sniffing the beer and just be like, what's going on? What's happening? And he'll sniff it again and be like, what's he looks like someone who's very confused while he smells it.
Well, because there was just
It's
this
like how you test wine.
It is.
Well,
There was this strange smell, and I'm just like, did Vic's cat crap in here? Did he rip one? I know it's not me. And I'm like,
Are you
it's
drinking Vic's cat's piss?
that's what I thought.
Stay away from my
and
cat.
it's this beer. It's just got a weird smell to it. I didn't know. It's not. I'm not. It tastes okay.
The Scorpio Pinot was awesome. Try it if you like sour stuff.
I'm not
try
saying Stella
sour beer.
Artois is.
Oh, you should try it.
Yeah, it tastes good.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
feel like I need to try that.
So okay.
Scorpio what again?
Scorpio Pinot is the pineapple one. The same guys brought over other types to me, and they've all been good.
It tastes like
Marcus-
shotgunning just
Marcus
straight
doesn't
pineapple
like it
juice.
at all.
No, he hates it. He hates anything sour.
It is disgusting.
I
It
love
is-
sour Skittles. I love sour.
It
Oh yeah,
is.
try sour beer. You'll probably
pickled
like
quail
it.
eggs.
Oh my god, it is
Ooh,
disgusting.
quail
It is like a
eggs.
pineapple
Yes.
pissing in your mouth. It is just
It is
bad.
so good.
It is disgusting.
It is not like that.
Yes,
Give it a
it
try.
is.
He is just a hater.
Oh my.
That's
Who lives in a
oddly arousing.
pineapple under the pea?
Well, no. Well, I had to pause.
Marcus lives there.
No, I had to pause
Marcus
for a moment to
Lopez.
turn that down to the actual first thought that I said. And if you think about it, you probably know what I actually wanted to say, but I'm just not going to say it. But anyway, moving on. I'm not dirty. Y'all went there, wasn't me. Y'all's mind went there. Anyway, so we're talking. So during the break, we decided, and we were going to talk about these mud floods because Vic's curiosity just seems to have gotten the better of him.
I do have an uncontrollable level of curiosity, and I have to know.
It is. Travis, what are mud floods? So it is not often that we are stumped. So at least on a general topic altogether. So please tell us about these mud floods.
Okay, so the mud flood theory. This is such a new term in the conspiracy realm
I
that
love it.
even the terms for what things are in the community that follows this sort of research or topic, they're new, they're random, whatever. So the theory is the mud flood theory. I first heard about this while listening to Sam Tripoli's podcast Tinfoil Hat, and they had a guest on named Howdy something. I don't